So the chatter in the streets is saying that Blueface just detonated a bomb the entire internet was not prepared for, and sources are alleging that Blueface low-key rolled up on Ocean Drive in Miami with Chrisian rock draped all over him, laughing, cheesing, throwing it back, and looking like a woman who forgot every single thing she said in every single interview she ever gave. And baby, allegedly, this whole reunion is not a reunion at all. Allegedly, this is a receipt. Allegedly, this is Blueface sending the loudest possible message to a very specific rival while a very specific baby mama is at home, pregnant, praying, and pretending she is unbothered. Sis, if you thought the Blueface saga was cooling down, come to find out we were only in intermission, because Blueface just flipped the entire script in one weekend, and the pieces that are falling out of that flip are messier than anything Zeus Network could have written in a writer's room. Let me put you on, because a lot of y'all have already seen the photos, but not everybody has connected the actual dots. There is Blueface, in the middle of the frame, standing on the sand in Miami. There is Chrisian Rock, wearing the chain, and I do mean the chain, the same chain the girls have been screaming about for months, the same chain the fanbase built entire theories around, the same chain that supposedly meant something spiritual, something loyal, something forever. Well, sis is wearing it, and she is smiling like a woman who never lost a night of sleep in her life. And in the background, allegedly, there is a whole different woman being invisible on purpose, because this is not her weekend. This is not her moment. This is not her chain. Peep this. Blueface posted a caption on his own page, and the caption said, and I am paraphrasing so nobody sues nobody, that he could hand a woman a car and she still would not leave him. And the entire comment section knew exactly what he meant, exactly who he meant, and exactly which rapper's ears that message was crawling into. Because the chatter in the streets is saying that message was meant, not for the fans, not for the algorithm, not for a random hater, but for one particular Baton Rouge artist who has been rumored to have moved things around with Chrisian while Blueface was locked up. And come to find out, Blueface allegedly wants that man to know the girl is home. The girl is on the beach. The girl is on the sand. The girl is on all fours in the surf and she is not leaving. That is the entire message. And the way he wrapped it up in a punchline, sis, tells me a Blueface song is dropping soon, because that line reads exactly like a Blueface bar, and Blueface does not waste a bar he can turn into revenue. Now, honestly, I do not know what conversations must be happening in Jaden Alexis's living room right now. Because Jaden is out here allegedly pregnant, allegedly carrying his child, allegedly holding the household together while this man is on vacation with his other ex, writing love letters in the sand for the cameras. Yes, I said love letters in the sand. Because Blueface and Chrisian allegedly wrote each other's names in the sand, wrote the word love in the sand, and posted the whole thing for millions of people to see, complete with a little Miami sunset for aesthetic. And there is supposedly a surprise at the very end of the montage that people are still arguing about in the group chats. Sis, this is not a fling. This is a production. This is a rollout. This is a Zeus Network trailer wearing a boyfriend costume. And let me put you on to something else, because the chatter in the streets is saying that Chrisian and Blueface were not just walking hand in hand. The chatter in the streets is saying they were caught freaking on the beach itself, that Chrisian was on all fours, that Blueface was very clearly in his zone, and that there is a bottle of Don Julio somewhere in the sand that saw more than any of us needed to see. Allegedly. Allegedly. Because we do not confirm things on this channel unless we have to. But sis, if she was on all fours, then it is safe to say Blueface was allegedly knocking down doors, because Blueface has never been the type of man to pass on that particular moment, especially not after a 2-year stretch, especially not with the woman who has been branding herself as the last woman he will ever love, and especially not while a rival rapper is watching from Louisiana. Come to find out, this is only the beginning of the Miami itinerary. Because Chrisian Rock took to the internet a few hours later to show the entire world that she is now making spaghetti. Sis. Spaghetti. His favorite meal, allegedly. And she has the pot, she has the pan, she has the meat, she has the noodles, she has the man in the background asking where the pan is, and she has the wrong cheese, because of course she does. And Blueface is standing in that kitchen laughing, cheesing, filming, and looking at that woman like he has never been happier in his entire life. And the girls on TikTok are losing their minds because Chrisian allegedly cannot even cook spaghetti properly, and yet Blueface is in there acting like she is Gordon Ramsay in a durag. That is what love looks like when a man is trying to send a message. He will eat spaghetti with the wrong cheese if the wrong cheese is winning a war. And here is where the internet went completely feral. Because the chatter in the streets is saying that this was allegedly their last night in Miami, which means the very next morning, Blueface is scheduled to be back at his own house, back in California, back in front of the cameras, and back in the same zip code as the woman who is allegedly pregnant with his second child by her. Sis. Do you understand the emotional violence of that timeline? Do you understand what it means to make spaghetti in Miami on Sunday and be back home with your other family on Monday? This is not a love story. This is a schedule. This is a rotation. This is a Blueface calendar app. Let me put you on to the psychology of this whole thing, because I have been sitting with it, and honestly, the more I look at it, the more I realize we have all seen this movie before. This is the same man who told y'all, over and over and over again, that no matter what these women say on the internet, they are going to end up right back in his bed. He said it on live. He said it on podcasts. He said it in interviews. He said it in songs. He wrote it on the wall of the internet in permanent marker, and y'all still convinced yourselves that this time would be different. This time she is healed. This time she is walking with God. This time she is protecting her peace. And then next thing you know, the girl is on the sand, on all fours, in reverse, laughing at every single fan who ever defended her honor. And y'all just sitting there. Blinking. Wondering how you got played by a script that was allegedly written before the season even started. Come to find out, this is not a Krisian rock story. This is not a Blueface story. This is a generation story. Because the chatter in the streets is saying that this generation is cooked, that the girls have Stockholm-adjacent behaviors, that the boys have delusional-adjacent behaviors, and that the difference between reality television and reality itself is now legally indistinguishable. Because everything you are watching right now is real. There are no scripts. There are no directors. There is no reset button. Krisian is really out there. Blueface is really out here. Jaden is really pregnant. NBA YoungBoy is really watching. And the internet is really enjoying it. That is the news. That is the entire news. And peep this. Blueface is not just doing this for love. Blueface is doing this for revenue. Because Blueface has figured out something that 90% of celebrities have not figured out. Blueface has figured out that if you are going to be messy, you may as well be paid for it. Every other rapper in his tax bracket is out here doing the exact same things, allegedly, with the exact same women, allegedly, on the exact same beaches, allegedly, but they are terrified of being caught, because they know the child support courts do not care about your feelings. Blueface, on the other hand, is out here filming his own child support case in high definition and then selling the tickets to it. That is not stupidity. That is a business model. That is a whole vertical. And that is why I am telling y'all, sis, that the real story here is not Blueface. The real story is Krisian Rock, because Krisian Rock is the product. Krisian Rock is the character. Krisian Rock is the vessel that the whole Blueface empire is running through, and if she stops running, the empire cools down. That is why she has to show up on the beach. That is why she has to wear the chain. That is why she has to make the spaghetti. Not because she loves him. Not because he loves her. But because both of them are allegedly aware that the second the audience stops watching, the checks stop cutting. And baby, they need those checks to cut. Now let me tell you what allegedly made the whole reunion pop off in the first place. Because the chatter in the streets is saying that Krisian allegedly did not come to Miami to fall back in love with Blueface. Krisian allegedly came to Miami to get her chain back. That was the entire mission. That was the entire trip. She showed up, she smiled, she took the pictures, she wrote in the sand, she made the pasta, and by the end of the weekend she left with a chain and a lipstick full of receipts. And the fans who spent the last 2 years defending her honor, sis, are the same fans who are now typing paragraphs about how empowered she is. That is not empowerment. That is inventory management. She had a piece of jewelry to retrieve, and she retrieved it. Sis is a logistics professional and the whole industry underestimated her. But here is where it gets darker. Because come to find out, this is not just about a chain. This is about a message. Because Blueface allegedly wanted the internet to know that Krisian is still his, still available, still willing, still in the rotation, and still the flagship. And the reason he wanted the internet to know that is because there is another rapper in the picture. There is another storyline in the picture. There is a Louisiana-based artist who has allegedly been in contact with Chrisean, and Blueface allegedly does not like the way that storyline was moving. So he moved his own storyline harder. He moved his own storyline louder. He moved his own storyline all the way to Ocean Drive with a photographer and a caption. That is not jealousy. That is territorial marketing. Turns out, if you watch the caption carefully, and I mean carefully, you can practically hear the diss track loading up in Blueface's studio. Because the caption reads like a lyric, walks like a lyric, and quacks like a lyric, and if Blueface is not in the booth right now turning that caption into a hook, I do not know Blueface at all. This is a man who once turned a beef with his own mother into a music video. This is a man who monetized his own arrest. This is a man who watched his entire life catch fire and decided to charge admission for the smoke. So yes, sis. That caption is a bar. That bar is a song. That song is dropping. And the whole internet is going to argue about it for 6 days straight, which is exactly the point. And listen, I have been in enough situations of my own to know how this rhythm works. I have watched a woman say she was over a man and then 2 weeks later be laid up in his bed like the last 12 months never happened. I have watched a man swear on everything he loves that he was done with a woman and then run right back to her the second she posted a swimsuit picture. I have watched entire friend groups pledge allegiance to a breakup and then quietly delete the group chat when the reconciliation dropped. This is not new. This is not shocking. This is not even Blueface. This is just what people are like when the cameras are off and the loneliness is on. The only difference here is that Blueface refuses to let the cameras be off. Ever. He wants you to see the loneliness turn into laughter, turn into spaghetti, turn into a diss track. He is showing you every frame of a cycle that the average celebrity would pay a publicist to erase. Come to find out, this is why Jaden Alexis is in the most difficult position of any of the 3 women in this triangle. Because Chrisean is going to get paid one way or another. NBA YoungBoy is going to have a diss track dropped at him and he is going to respond with a bigger one, because that is what NBA YoungBoy does. But Jaden is at home, allegedly pregnant, allegedly hoping this man is going to walk back through the front door and act like the last 72 hours were a fever dream. Sis. That is heartbreak in high definition. That is a woman watching her family plan get uploaded to a public timeline and set on fire. And I am not saying she does not know what she signed up for. Everyone here knows what everyone here signed up for. But knowing does not make it hurt less. Knowing just means you cannot cry on camera without looking dumb. Let me put you on to something the internet is missing. Because everybody is arguing about who wins this triangle, and I am telling y'all right now, nobody wins this triangle. Chrisean does not win because she is one Blueface mood swing away from being replaced. Jaden does not win because she is home holding a stroller while the man she is carrying is on somebody else's beach. NBA YoungBoy does not win because he is being emotionally taxed by a caption. Blueface does not win because he is one probation violation away from a headline he cannot monetize. The only entity that wins this triangle is the algorithm. YouTube wins. TikTok wins. Instagram wins. Zeus wins. Every gossip channel with a camera and a stable internet connection wins. And the 4 humans at the center of the storm are just the fuel we are all burning to make our own numbers go up. And peep this, because I do not want to skip past it. There was a specific moment in the beach footage that the fans are still arguing about, and I need to weigh in. The moment I am talking about is the moment Chrisean allegedly went on all 4s in the water, and I do not need to draw the picture for you because you already saw it, but I need to talk about what it signaled. Because when a woman does that on camera, with millions of eyes on her, in the year of our Lord 2026, she is not doing it for love. She is not doing it for chemistry. She is doing it because she knows the clip is going to travel. She wants the clip to travel. She wants NBA YoungBoy to see the clip. She wants Jaden Alexis to see the clip. She wants every hater who ever doubted her to see the clip. That was not intimacy. That was a press release. And she delivered it perfectly. Come to find out, the deeper conversation nobody wants to have is about the fanbase itself. Because I love y'all, but I have to say this. Y'all are addicted. Y'all are addicted to this couple. Y'all are addicted to this drama. Y'all are addicted to this storyline. Y'all wake up and check to see what Chrisian is wearing before you check the weather. Y'all know Blueface release date better than you know your own mother's birthday. Y'all could pass an oral exam on Jaden Alexis's OnlyFans timeline. And I am telling you this with love, because I am in it too. I am on this beat too. I am on this couch talking about it too. This is our shared condition. We are all patients in the same hospital. And the doctors are on Instagram Live. Let me put you on to something that will hurt. Because the chatter in the streets is saying that Blueface allegedly does not have the intention to stay with Chrisian. That this entire trip is allegedly a stunt with a shelf life. That the plan is to milk the reunion for as many streams, views, and headlines as possible, and then quietly reset back to Jaden once the numbers cool off. If that is true, and I am saying if, then Chrisian is not the winner of this trip. Chrisian is the promotional vehicle for this trip. And the sad part is she may already know it. She may already have signed up for it. She may already be counting the days until the checks clear so she can pretend the whole thing meant something bigger than it did. Sis. That is a hard business to be in. That is a hard life to hold together. Now let me pause for a second and address the women in the audience, because I know some of y'all are watching this and thinking, well, at least Chrisian is glowing, at least she is smiling, at least she has her chain. Sis. Please. A chain is not a relationship. A weekend is not a foundation. A caption is not a commitment. If your metric for winning is jewelry and Miami sunlight, then any woman with a passport and a good angle can beat you at that game, and one of them is going to. The reason we keep having this conversation about Chrisian is because Chrisian keeps proving that she has never been in this for a legacy. She has been in this for the visibility, and she gets it, and she gets rewarded for it, and then the reward evaporates, and the cycle restarts. That is not a love story. That is a subscription service. Turns out, the real revelation of this entire weekend is not what Blueface and Chrisian did on that beach. The real revelation is that the entire industry, from Zeus Network to the podcast bros to the reaction channels to the fashion accounts, is now openly, publicly, and shamelessly running on the fumes of two people's decision to keep hurting each other in HD. And nobody is stopping them. Not their families. Not their friends. Not their teams. Not their fans. Because if they stop, we all stop eating. And that, sis, is the ugliest math in the entire situation. We are financially incentivized for them to fail. And they know it. And they are performing the failure. And we are clapping for the choreography. Come to find out, this is why NBA YoungBoy has been so quiet. Because if you have not noticed, NBA has not said one word publicly about any of this. Not a tweet. Not a caption. Not a subliminal. And that silence, sis, is loud. Because NBA is not the type to sit down. NBA is the type to record a whole album in a weekend and drop it before you finish reading a tracklist. So if NBA is quiet, it is because NBA is either recording, or NBA is genuinely unbothered because he was never actually attached to the situation the way the internet believes he was. Either scenario is spicy. Either scenario is a story. And whichever scenario turns out to be true, we all know Blueface is going to poke him one more time to find out. Because Blueface does not stop poking until the other man swings. And that is when the real content starts. Let me put you on to the timing, because the timing is everything. Blueface only recently came home from a 2-year stretch. 2 years. 24 months. 730 days. That is a long time to sit and think about who left you, who visited you, who wrote to you, who forgot about you, and who moved on with your rival while you were rotting in a cell. And whatever Blueface has decided about the women in his life, he decided it inside that cell. Every move he is making right now, every caption, every beach photo, every plate of wrong cheese spaghetti, is a move that was allegedly pre-written on a jail cell notepad. This is not spontaneity. This is a plan. And the plan is unfolding exactly the way he wants it to. And peep this, because the plan has a next chapter. Because the chatter in the streets is saying that Blueface allegedly has a music project loading up, and the music project allegedly features Chrisian, and the music project allegedly is going to lean all the way into the reunion narrative for maximum streaming numbers. And if that turns out to be true, sis, then this Miami trip was not the story. This Miami trip was the marketing campaign. And every one of us who spent an hour analyzing the sand and the spaghetti and the chain was allegedly being played like a fiddle in an orchestra we did not know we joined. That is not gossip. That is genius. Genius that is bad for everybody involved, including us, but genius nonetheless. Come to find out, the biggest loser of this whole cycle is not Jaden, is not NBA, is not even the fans. The biggest loser is the version of Chrisian Rock that walked out of Blueface's life 2 years ago promising she was done. That version of Chrisian is dead. That version of Chrisian was buried on Ocean Drive last weekend. And every fan who invested emotionally in that version, who built a whole personality around defending her healing, is now standing in the wreckage of a redemption arc that was never real. And that, sis, is going to sting for a long time. Because it is one thing to lose a favorite character. It is another thing to lose a favorite character to a plate of pasta and a chain. Let me put you on to what happens next, because I have been watching this rodeo for a long time and I know the pattern. First, Blueface is going to drop a song. The song is going to be catchy. The song is going to have a line about NBA. NBA is going to respond, or NBA is going to stay quiet, and either response is going to become a headline. Jaden is going to post something cryptic on her story, and the internet is going to convert the cryptic post into a full breaking news package within 11 minutes. Chrisian is going to go on live, drunk or sober, and say something that contradicts everything she said on the beach. Blueface is going to go on live and laugh at her while she says it. The clip is going to travel. The channels are going to pick it up. The cycle is going to restart. And 2 weeks from today, we will all be right back here, having the exact same conversation, wearing different clothes. And this is the part that hurts to say. Because I have said it before and I will say it again. The only way any of this ends is when the audience decides to stop watching. And we are not going to stop watching. Because Blueface is not just entertainment. Blueface is a mirror. And every time we look at him, we see something in ourselves we do not want to name. We see the version of ourselves that went back to the ex. We see the version of ourselves that ignored the red flags for one more night of feeling wanted. We see the version of ourselves that told our best friend we were done with someone and then answered their text the next morning. Blueface is not a rapper. Blueface is a hologram of the human condition wearing a durag. And we are addicted because we recognize him. Sis, let me be honest with you. I do not care what side of this you are on. I do not care if you are Team Chrisian, Team Jaden, Team Blueface, Team NBA, or Team Nobody. I do not care if you think Chrisian got played, or if you think Chrisian is the mastermind, or if you think Blueface is the mastermind, or if you think none of them are thinking at all. What I care about is that you see the pattern. Because once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it, and once you cannot unsee it, you start noticing the same pattern in your own life. In your own relationships. In your own group chats. In your own bedrooms. And the day you start noticing that pattern in yourself is the day you start to change. And that is worth more than every chain in Miami. Now regardless of where you stand, I want to know what you think, because this comment section is about to be a whole gospel choir and I want front row seats. Do you think Blueface is playing four-dimensional chess or four-dimensional foolishness? Do you think Chrisian came for the chain, for the love, or for both? Do you think Jaden Alexis is going to hold this L quietly or turn it into her own campaign? Do you think NBA YoungBoy is going to respond, and if he does, do you think he is going to bury Blueface or just add fuel to the entire circus? And most importantly, sis, do you think there is a version of any of this where somebody actually walks away happy? Or is Miami just the middle of a movie we are all going to be watching for the rest of the year? Drop your verdict in the comments and tell me exactly what side you are on. Tell me if you were shocked or if you saw it coming from a mile away. Tell me if you think this trip meant something or if it was all a promo run for a song Blueface has not released yet. Tell me if Jaden should stay or if Jaden should run. Tell me if Chrisian is the villain, the victim, or the vibe. And while you are down there, do sis a favor and hit that subscribe button, because the chatter in the streets is saying that Blueface is not done, Chrisian is not done, Jaden is not done, NBA is not done, and I am definitely not done. This story has 3 more chapters, at least, and I am going to be on every single one of them the second they drop. So until then, sis, keep your ear to the street. Keep your notifications on. And keep your popcorn buttered. Because Miami was not the finale. Miami was not the twist. Miami was not even the climax. Miami was just the appetizer. And baby, the main course is coming. Allegedly. 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 And one more thing before I let y'all go, because I would be doing this whole story a disservice if I did not say it out loud. Blueface knows exactly what he is doing. Chrisian knows exactly what she is doing. Jaden knows exactly what she is doing. NBA Youngboy knows exactly what he is doing. The only people in this whole equation who do not fully know what they are doing are the fans, and even we are starting to catch on. Which means the next time Blueface flies a girl to Miami, the next time Chrisian puts on a chain, the next time Jaden posts a cryptic story, the next time NBA drops a mysteriously timed verse, we are going to see it for what it is, in real time, without the delay, and the game is going to have to level up. And that, sis, is when the real content begins. Because a fanbase that finally sees the strings is a fanbase that forces the puppeteers to invent a whole new theater. So welcome to the next act. Miami was the curtain going up. Everything after this is the show. Now let me back the truck all the way up, because I do not want anybody in this comments section to say I skipped the receipts. The chatter in the streets is saying that Blueface and Chrisian did not even bump into each other by accident in Miami. Allegedly, this was a planned meetup. Allegedly, this was coordinated. Allegedly, there were phone calls, there were flights booked, there were hotels reserved, and there was a whole itinerary drawn up before either of them ever posted a single frame of it. And once you know that, sis, the whole beach photo shoot starts looking like a movie set. Because the lighting is too good. The angles are too flattering. The captions are too on brand. Real reunions do not look like Vogue spreads. Real reunions look like two people crying in a Waffle House at 3 in the morning. This one looked like a Beyoncé visual album, and Blueface is nobody's Beyoncé. Come to find out, there is also a whole layer of this story that involves Blueface's mother, because you know she was not going to stay quiet during any of this. The chatter in the streets is saying that Blueface's mama has allegedly been Team Jaden from day one, that she has allegedly never approved of Chrisian, and that she has allegedly been telling anybody who will listen that Chrisian is bad for her son. So imagine being Blueface's mama, watching your grown son go on live, fly to Miami, wrap his arms around the one woman you have been begging him to leave alone, and post it for the entire planet to see. Sis. That is a phone call I would pay money to hear. That is a family group chat that is on fire right now. And knowing Blueface's mama, she is not going to hold that opinion in for very long, which means we are about a week away from a whole new subplot in the Blueface universe featuring the woman who raised him and the woman he keeps refusing to walk away from. Come to find out, this whole situation is bigger than Chrisian and Blueface. This whole situation is bigger than Jaden and NBA. This is a case study in what fame does to grown adults when the incentive structure of the internet rewards chaos more than it rewards clarity. Because if Chrisian walked away from Blueface and went and got a normal life, y'all would forget her in 6 months. If Blueface walked away from Chrisian and married Jaden quietly, he would drop off the map. If NBA Youngboy stopped trolling from the sidelines, half his headlines dry up. If Jaden actually left this entire situation and started fresh, sis, the podcast bros would not know what to do with themselves for a whole week. The reason none of them can walk away is because the second any of them walk away, the money stops moving. And in 2026, the money moving is the closest thing any of them have to a religion. Now I want to talk about the moment on the beach where Chrisian was making the shape of a heart in the sand, because this is where I have to stop being nice. Because if you look at the footage frame by frame, sis, you can see her looking at the camera. Not at Blueface. At the camera. She is checking the shot. She is checking the angle. She is checking whether the little heart she just drew is going to be visible when the clip loads on Instagram. That is not a woman in love. That is a woman working. That is a professional finishing a job. And I am not judging her for it. I am admiring it, if I am being honest. Because she has figured out that if love is going to hurt anyway, she may as well get paid on the way through it. Every single frame that woman gave the internet last weekend was a paid performance. And she gave a good performance. She earned every dollar the algorithm is about to push her way. Give her the Oscar. But this is where it gets sticky, sis. Because if this whole reunion is a performance, then everybody involved has to be in on it. Which means Blueface knew what he was doing. Chrisian knew what she was doing. Their teams knew what they were doing. The photographers knew what they were doing. The people who were posting the videos to their TikToks knew what they were doing. Everybody was in on the show. Except, allegedly, Jaden Alexis. Because Jaden allegedly did not get a memo. Jaden allegedly did not get a heads up. Jaden allegedly did not know this was coming. And that is the part that changes it from a business decision to a betrayal. Because business decisions are neutral. Betrayals leave scars. And Jaden is going to be wearing that scar for a long time, regardless of whether she goes on live and denies it or not. Come to find out, the deeper you go into this situation, the more it starts feeling less like a celebrity story and more like a warning sign for the rest of us. Because how many of us have been Jaden? How many of us have been at home, doing the loyal thing, being the reliable one, holding down the family, and then one day found out through a friend that our person was 2 states over doing the exact opposite of what we thought they were doing? How many of us have been Chrisian? How many of us have been so hungry for the crumbs of a person who never fed us properly that we said yes to a weekend we knew was going to leave us empty? How many of us have been Blueface? How many of us have decided that our own pain was too big to process, so we would rather cause pain to somebody else and call it a lifestyle? Sis. This is not a celebrity story. This is a mirror. And every one of us is in that mirror somewhere. And peep this, because I have to say it one more time. Blueface just came home from prison. He is on probation. He is on multiple people's radar legally. He has active court cases. He has active child support obligations. And this man decided that the first order of business after freedom was to fly out of state, be publicly documented with a woman who is not the mother of his upcoming child, write in the sand for the cameras, post captions that read like Disas, and be photographed doing things on a public beach that any judge in America could pull up on their phone during a probation review. That is not just messy, sis. That is legally reckless. And if his lawyer is not on the phone with him right now begging him to log off, then his lawyer needs to be fired and replaced by somebody with a functioning survival instinct. Now let me address the elephant in the room, because a lot of y'all have been in my DMs asking about the son. Because Blueface and Chrisian share a child. There is a whole little person in this story who did not ask to be in this story. And the chatter in the streets is saying that the son was not on the Miami trip. The son was allegedly with family. Which is a small mercy, if you think about it, because at least he was not present for the beach scene. But sis, that child is going to grow up. That child is going to have internet access. That child is going to Google his parents one day, and every single frame of last weekend is going to still be there, waiting for him, in high definition, forever. And that thought alone should have been enough to make everybody involved put the phones down. It was not. And that tells you exactly how this story is going to end. It is not going to end. It is going to be inherited. Come to find out, the smartest thing anybody could have done during this whole weekend was to log off, and none of us did it. Not the fans. Not the commentators. Not the reaction channels. Not the podcast hosts. Not the gossip sites. Not the memes accounts. Not the therapists on TikTok. Not the pastors on Instagram. Nobody logged off. Everybody stayed. Everybody watched. Everybody weighed in. Everybody made content. Everybody made money. And that is the most damning receipt of all. Because if we truly cared about these people, we would give them silence. But we do not care about them. We care about the show they put on. And the show they put on has been so good, sis, for so long, that we cannot look away even when we know looking away is the healthiest thing we could do. That is the trap. And we are all caught in it. Together. Sis, I am going to close this out, but I need to say 2 more things before I hit stop on the camera. The first thing is this. If you are watching this and you are seeing yourself in any of these characters, please take that as a message. Not a curse. Not a shame. Just a message. Because everything on your timeline is a mirror, and every mirror is an invitation to change. And the second thing is this. If you are watching this and you are laughing at Chrisian, at Jaden, at Blueface, at NBA, at any of them, that is fine. Laughter is medicine. But do not let the laughter fool you into thinking you are above the pattern. Because the pattern is the pattern. And it does not care about your zip code, your income, your degree, or your follower count. The pattern will find you if you are not paying attention. So pay attention. Pay attention to the people you keep going back to. Pay attention to the reasons you keep giving them. Pay attention to the checks that are cashing behind the scenes of your own private storylines. That is the whole homework assignment. That is the whole gospel. That is the whole tea, and it is served hot.